And welcome back. Today we are going to be running down all the premium vehicles that you can and can't buy. I will also be including pack vehicles, which will be going on sale either next week or the week after. So sometimes it's better to wait a little bit. But what I want to do here is cover everything, mention some vehicles very briefly, which you should and shouldn't Talisman. I want to speed run it at the start, so I will arrive at USA, tell you pick this, 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 and this. And then I want to go a little bit more in depth, but it should be all in the progress bar. It should be easy to navigate because I don't want you to watch this entire ass thing for about 1.5 hours because I just got done doing the entire thing. I'm redoing the intro right now, and goddamn, this was a long video. I was gonna say I'm gonna keep it short, but you know, when I say I keep it short, I'm gonna drop you with too much information, and it's gonna end up being way too long. Do with that information what you will. Thank you to all my patrons before we get started, and to everyone looking to buy anything in this sale from the guys in store. I'll have a discount link down below. Feel free to use that and support me in the process. Let's get started with our video today. Two small things before we get started. I do think buying premium time is very important, but it looks like we can't do that just yet either. Should come in about a month or so with another anniversary sale, with the winter sales. You can mostly get some premium time, which is by far the most important part about grinding. Because when you get a premium plane, you need to fly that thing to actually get Silver Lions. And RP, the benefit is of course that even if you don't play for a year, you will still have that premium vehicle and it will still earn you money. Whereas premium time can kind of pass along. So if you can't really play a lot, you can only play 1 day a month, for so to speak. Don't buy premium time, it's an absolute waste. Just get a vehicle instead. But if you don't play a lot, the grind in this game will be absolutely dreadful. But I do think it's important to start off with a premium vehicle in the tech tree, so you can skip the ranked 1, 2 and 3 for the most part if you buy a little bit of a higher rank one. And it's going to make your grind a lot more enjoyable, because the first 1 or 2 tiers I think are the worst in the game, which is kind of a shame, because well, it doesn't really attract newer players because they instantly think this game blows ass. And I mean, to a degree, well, let's be honest, it kind of does in some ways. And another thing here, I think a premium is very important for 2 reasons. You get a lot more Silver Lions and you have to pay a very small repair cost, because for a lot of people Silver Lions are a little bit of a bottleneck. You will always get RP. It doesn't matter if you die, if you just send it in, get a few hits. But if you die without getting anything done, you are going to lose Silver Lions. So Silver Lions is a fluctuation, whereas RP will always go up. So a premium plane that you can grind with is very, very important. And before I get into actually the grind of the game itself and the RP, I want to very quickly go to some Silver Lion grinders that are absolutely amazing. And I will only be looking at premiums here. In general, if you don't get any premiums, best way to grind Silver Lions, and I will run it down very quickly. Pick a plane you are good with that pays out the best. If you can go 5 to 1 in a vehicle, fly that. You're going to make a profit flying that thing. So which ones do you want to get here? This is all kind of mid. XP50, one of the best in the game in general. F2G, one of the best, but not on sale right now. And the F5C is one of the best purchases you can make, but more of that in a second. Over here, all kind of shitty. Yak 1B, all kind of mid. Junker 288, I know and you're going to hate me for it, but it's amazing for grinding Silver Light. Pardon me. Russia, all not really that impressive until you reach VK, oh fuck me, VK 107, and of course the SU11, absolute no-brainer, one of the best ones in the entire game. Look at that repair cost for a rank 5 jet with very short games. You're gonna make an absolute bank with this thing. Great Britain, I'm just gonna skip this because it's all fucking blows, but if you really want to get one, get the Corsair. Japan, FU1A, this one is probably better if you want to have a little bit more fun. P51C is amazing, and other than that, get the J2M5 or the J6K, but the J6K is also not on sale. Nothing, don't recommend anything here for Silver Lion either. Yak 3, fantastic for Silver Lions. Pure Mursky, fantastic for Silver Lions. And here there is absolutely nothing. But let's look a little bit more in depth. But that's the quick rundown here for the best Silver Lion premiums that you want to get. Let's look at the nations. Let's get started with this video. Rank 6 here, F5C, and I know it's not on sale just yet, but it will be next week or the week after. And if you buy this thing for America, you are completely done. You don't need to buy anything else. You are done with this entire tech tree. Now, if you think, I'm not very familiar with jets, I don't really feel confident going to 10.3. The F5C is very handholdy, it's very easy to fly, good for air to air, good for air to ground, very hard to kill, squirmy, turns well, decent acceleration, flares, and a little bit of a bullshit damage model. So this is definitely going to be your best pick in the entire nation. Also one for a general SL grinder. However, I feel you, some of you guys are not familiar with jets, you don't feel very confident, or you just don't like jets and you want to play props. What do I recommend then? XP50, very much a no-brainer. If you don't really worry about jets at all, this thing is one, extremely cheap. You can grind all the way up until the end of rank 4. And this thing is going to get you every prop in the game. You get an air spawn, quick access to the enemy battle, good guns, good turn, good climb, good speed. It's basically good at everything. So XP50 here, definitely the best prop you can buy in the entire nation. If you are looking for air-to-air combat, and probably the best payout. Will teach you some things about air RB. And then maybe get the F5C next week if you feel a little bit more confident, or don't. It doesn't really matter. But let's look at the rest of the tech tree here. Rank 1, you can kind of skip this. There's nothing really special here. P40, I didn't buy this Talisman. Horse shit of a plane. P29N0 is good. Criminally under tiered, just like the FU1A. P38 here, if you want to pick one, pick the G1. P40s you can skip. P51, it's okay. It's above average. It's maybe decent. Not amazing. But at rank 2, the Talismans don't really matter. F4Fs, skip. FU1A, very good. Definitely worth the pickup. USMC, not worth the BR bump. These planes are all kind of mid. A36 can be funny with the gun pods, but other than that, I don't really recommend it. Key 43s, I don't know how they are nowadays. They did get changed a little bit, and I'm not really confident on how good they are, but they are extremely slow, and everyone is just gonna be running away from you. But again, it's rank 2. Key 61, it's okay. I made a video on the Japanese one last week, if you want to check it out. It's pretty good, but again, it's not amazing. But it's pretty decent for a grinder. These things you can't get anymore. XP38 you can't get anymore, but it's essentially this thing, but with a premium bonus. XP55, it's a good plane, it has good guns, but it's only rank 2 and it's extremely expensive for what it is. Especially considering the XP50 at a lower BR, at a higher rank, with a better payout, is cheaper. So just get the XP50, and this kind of nullifies all the other props in its entire nation. P63A5, it's okay, don't really recommend talismaning it. Same with the C5 and the A10. P51C10, amazing vehicle. And then the P47s you can skip until the D28. It's the same one as the D30 in the Chinese tech tree, both of which I made a video on. They are a little bit old, but they are still very much relevant. FU1D, again, not worth the BR bump. If you want to fly an F6F, fly the F6F5. FUs, 1C, it's not very good, but it does have good guns, a lot of ammo, and you can just kind of play it like a Mong and get away with it. It can be fun, but objectively, this thing is a bad plane. If you enjoy it, do your thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. FU4, I mean, it's a good plane at 4.7, but I don't think it's that special. SB2C, really, well, if you want to get one, get this thing, airspawn, good guns, with the gun ports, and just kind of turn with people, dive on them, and then run out of energy after a single pass. But it's a bit of a meme vehicle. I don't really recommend you talismaning it. It's pretty piss poor slow. PBJs, lol. P51C, is it good? I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. If you like this kind of playstyle, be my guest. These bombers, I would say skip all of them. Maybe if you want to fly a bomber, get the PB4Y. A6M2, way too slow. X5F, kind of meh, not very good. 109 F4, I mean, why would you? You have the XP50, but the F4 is good. And if you are a 109 fan, probably one of the better 109s that you can actually buy. PTD, don't. just don't. And then we go to rank 4. Skip all of these. LO is pretty damn good. Airspawn, same deal with the F-82. F-82 is more of a I go in and I kill people plane. Not exactly amazing, but funny gun port. Good for ground pounding as well, because pillboxes, soft units, they get absolutely evaporated by the amount of 50 cals that you have. Then you go here, D5, hard skip. D30 is pretty good, but you are starting to get into the territory where 5.0 starts getting up-tiered until 6.0 with the Junker 288. And guess what? They're not very fun games. Very small lobbies, 1 or 2 fighters in the enemy team, and they're probably going to be ground pounding, and your team is probably going to be beating them to death before you do, because if you climb at all, you are going to be second row in. So a bit of a shit mix BR, but you can play it, and the D30 is at least pretty good at it. P47 N15, don't recommend. P51H 5NA, amazing plane, probably one of the best props in the entire game. However, again, 6.0 matchmaker, not exactly very fun. If you like the plane, it's good, but is it a good grinder? Probably not. FU4B, man, the guns on this thing have been absolutely destroyed. And I don't mean that in a good sense. They're not that great anymore. Still an amazing aircraft. However, I mean, A&M 3s are kind of mid now, so I don't really recommend this. The F8 F1B or the F7 F1. This thing is a bit of a toss-up. I haven't actually flown it yet, but at 5.3, potentially it's gonna be pretty damn good. However, not much ammo. I mean, you're still an F8F. On to the next line. A26s, not very great. AM1s, also their guns have been absolutely killed. So is it worth to fly these? I don't know. Maybe for ground RB. Definitely not for air RB. And the same goes for these bombers here, but these probably won't be very good in air or ground RB either. Then you arrive at the rank 4 premium list for the American tree. There's a lot of stuff here. What do I recommend? F2G, despite it's not on sale. D10 when it gets on sale. And the rest here, not the best, but you can work with some stuff. D10, probably the best here if it goes on sale next week, but we aren't sure of it. Same with the P47 M1, it's good, but just fly the D28 if you like P47s. If you want a premium P47, because you simply like, well, getting SL, then I guess it's good, but it kind of fell out of meta because it's not very good at getting kills very quickly. It's more of a slow burner plane where you have to side climb, set up, get positioning, stay fast, and then you run out of tickets or time and you get 1 or 2 kills. Don't really recommend it, but hey, if you like P47s, this is probably the pinnacle of flying it. However, this thing is infinitely better for the BR. F2G, no brainer, pretty good, but not on sale. A8, airspawn, a lot of guns. You do the math, you get kills, you get RP, you get SL, but objectively speaking, the performance is not very good, but you can get a lot of kills very quickly in this, so in that sense, it's pretty good for grinding. Spitfire LF Mark 9C. Is it any good? It's probably one of the best Spitfires in the game, but again, 6.0 matchmaker is very prevalent, and with a plane like this, you do not want to be facing Junker 288, because they are just going to be running away from you. A2D, good for ground pounding, but 7.0 against jets, SU-11s and stuff like that. I think you're better off buying either this thing, which is the same BR, or, well, getting the F5C yet again. And then we arrive at the tech tree. F80 A5. It's a good plane, very versatile, but I think that the F84B is a little bit better, and I talisman this all the way back in 2016, and I still don't regret it. You get an airspawn, you're pretty damn quick, and you can actually get some stuff done before your team evaporates. And that's the problem with this thing. Very often your team is gone before you even reach the middle of the map, which is a little bit unfortunate. F80 C10, fun plane, not very competitive anymore. F84G, still pretty good, but at 7.7 you are going to be up-tiered quite often. And let me tell you, fighting MiG-15s and Sabres is not very much an enjoyable experience. Talking about Sabres, we have the A5, which is probably going to be the better one here, simply because it's 8.3 and you can never face those all-aspect bullshit SU-25s. But the F-25 is a better aircraft, however, it's going to be depending on the matchmaker a little bit, as well as preference. This, of course, gets a weaker engine, but it turns slightly better, which is why it's a lower BR. F2H, as well as the two F9Fs, hard skip, guns don't work. F3D, same story. F84F, Lemao no. B57, also kind of mid. If you want to get one of these, get the F89B. Pretty good guns, a lot of ammo, not as strong as they once were, but I mean the airframe is still pretty good. It is a little bit of a boat and it's kind of awkward to fly, but it is pretty good for getting some quick RP in. We reach rank 6. Buy the F5C, what else can I say? There's nothing really here to buy with Golden Eagles, so you're kind of shit out of luck regardless. But in case you don't, you can get the F86 F2. And otherwise I would recommend the AV8C and maybe the F8U2, but keep in mind these wings will snap off sometimes out of nowhere and it can be pretty stressful. Wait, does this thing get flashed? Because I just said, yeah, okay, it does get flashed now. So, pretty good. All aspect missile, BR range, you want to have flares. And these 100 and 104s are basically dead. F105 is basically dead. FJ4, good for ground pounding. I would pick it over the A4B. Opinions on that are divided. F3H, bit of a dog shit vehicle. Same with the F9, F8, as well as the F100 and the F4C. Absolute hard skips. And then you reach rank 7. But if you are already grinding something, if you have a rank 6 that you can grind to it, that you have a Talisman on, or maybe the F5C, then just keep grinding until the F14. In reality, the F4J is pretty good because of the AIM 7Fs. However, the stock grind is absolutely horrible and I don't think it's really worth it when the F14 is right behind it at the same BR. F5E, pretty fun to fly, not very meta. F4E, completely fell out of meta as well. A10 late, A7D and the A7E, good for ground RB, not so much for air RB. A10A here, same with the AV8A, but also not on sale. I don't think these are very amazing when you have this thing right below it there. So that's the quick rundown of nation number 1. Let's go straight to Adolf and see what he has in store for us. Rank 1, you can skip basically everything. E1 and the Heinkel 100 are probably the best picks. But what should you get if you are looking to buy anything over here? The MiG-21 SPS is, I think, it's a decent grinder, but rank 6, sure. No flares, unless you run no gun. Does that sound enjoyable to you? It doesn't sound very enjoyable to me. So the problem is you then are looking at the R4, which is also not on sale right now. And also not very enjoyable at 8.7. I flew it last week. So we go one BR lower and then we arrive at yours truly, the Junker 288. I know it's a bomber. I know it's very boring for most of you, but without a doubt, probably the best grinder you can get here. And because of the 6v6 matchmaker, guess what? You're not going to be fighting many enemies. So very often you can very easily drop. Maybe even get a second drop in. RTB again. And maybe get a third drop in. Very often you kill someone with a gunner. Not that expensive to repair. And it's basically guaranteed SL and guaranteed research points. Now if you aren't looking to buy this, B2 is a bit of a suicide grinder. I made a video on this, I think 2 or 3 months ago, where I got 9 kills in the damn thing. Not a good plane, but more of a suicide head-on thing. D13, pretty good, but also not on sale. So you are seeing there is a little bit of a trend going on here, which isn't very enjoyable. Rank 3. I don't recommend any of these. If you really need to get anything, I'll probably get this thing. But maybe this thing is better because it gets an air spawn. They're both pretty not very amazing. But you can make them work. If the LA5 FN goes on sale, I would recommend you to pick that one up. And then you have rank 2 here. Yak 1B, easy pick. Better than everything here. E7 is pretty damn good. But you can't buy that because it's not actually a premium vehicle that you can buy from the store. It's a dog tag vehicle from like 2006 or 2017. And then you arrive at rank 1, and there's nothing really there. So let's look at rank 1 again. E1, Heinkel 100D. All of these you can basically skip. They're all kind of meh, kind of shit. On to the next one. E4, good plane. A1 is a good plane. F1 is also absolutely incredible. F2, it's a good plane, but the gun is kind of shit. With the 15mm, that doesn't really do that much damage. So I don't really recommend you to buy that one. Junker 88, BF 110s, Donye 17s. I wouldn't get them. Same with these. I wouldn't get them. D5 can be a bit of a meme with the gun ports. but again, meme vehicle, not exactly very good. Junker 88, F100, Heinkel 111, same deal, not the best bombers, but if you are a bomber pilot, I would probably get the Heinkel 111. This thing is big, slow, and gets shot down easily, but it's the same with this thing, and really it's the same with this thing. Probably best bet is going to be the Junker 84 A4. Junker 88 A4, I'm sorry. But, I mean, the bombers are not exactly amazing. If you want to get a real bomber, get this thing at 5.0. Pretty fast, gets a good air spawn, gets a good bomb load, and you are basically guaranteed a drop. But at rank 3, F4, absolute no-brainer. Don't bother with the F4 drop, it's just a slightly worse F4. And the G2, while at a higher BR, in most circumstances, this thing is going to be better. So if you really want to fly 109, F4 is probably going to be the best bet at rank 3. 190s, I would pick this thing. You don't have the MGs. If you really want MGs, just fly this thing. But then you need to skip this one. The extra 20mm I think are not very worth it. But that's preference. If you want more guns, fly this one. If you want less guns and more performance, fly the A5U12. These, pretty mid, pretty mid. If you want a bomber, fly this one. Rank 4, no brainer. G6, probably best in slot here, 4.7, very good performance. K4, very good performance, but again, 6.0 matchmaker. You are going to be dragged in with Junker 288 and expect your ass to carry basically every match. A8, airspawn, head on, kill people, easy RP, but not the best performance. F8, slightly better performance, but less guns, so it's a more of a connoisseur kind of plane. 190s, fly the D9, skip the D12. TAR 152s, fly the H1, skip the C3. C3 is a bit more of a frag plane, send it in, head on people, spray people, get a lot of kills, and then die because your plane is absolutely useless the second it runs into a P-51H. Sounds enjoyable to you? Be my guest to fly it. ME410, Dornier 335s, and these bombers, really, if you want a bomber, you just get this thing. If you want to go PvE grinding, then probably just get that. We have arrived at the premiums. I've already covered them. Same with here. There's not much here to pick really. And at rank 5, there's really not much here. If you want to fly a 262, fly the Jabo because it gets an airspawn. This one does not. Other than that, they are virtually identical other than the fuel load. Heinkel 162, meme me all you want. This thing is pretty good. It's very fast, but it's not very easy to fly. Or at least not very easy to be effective in. It's a very good plane, but it's all speed. No matchmaker, no bitches, no fun. It's very much a restricted vehicle. You are just completely reliant on your top speed. I don't think it's very enjoyable. It's very still to fly, but if you like it, be my guest. No. Fun, but no. 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 SU-11 exists. No. We already covered it. No. Basically the same thing. No missiles. No 50 cals, however. And you get the Defas, but I don't think this is very great either anymore. And then we arrive at the MiG-15 BIS. Hell yes. Limp 5P. Depends on your matchmaker. It's a good plane, but all aspect missiles are kind of a bitch to deal with. So I don't really recommend it. I would Talisman a MiG-15 BIS, really. 163s. If you want to get one, fly this one instead. This one has slightly better guns in my opinion. But the 20mm are not that great at the moment. And they are letting you down quite often. And these are a little bit harder to aim. But they do hit harder. And you have a little bit less of a shitty matchmaker. 8.0, a lot more forgiving than 8.7. And these other vehicles here are not really worth your time. I mean, the R4... For ground RB it's amazing, don't get me wrong. But again, it's not on sale yet again. It's not on sale yet, I should say. You don't have countermeasures. You will be up tier to 9.7 very often. And you just don't have the retention. You don't have the longevity in this vehicle. It's very easy to counter. It's very annoying to fly. You can get some good RP with it, but I don't think it's that amazing. So we go straight until rank 6. The CL is finally 9.0. And this thing is finally 9.3. Are they any good, however? Probably not. Probably better off flying the none of these and flying the MiG-19S. But all aspect missiles, every BR. Does that sound fun to you? It doesn't. This thing gets slightly better matchmaker. this thing has a lot more performance. So it's going to be dependent on how often you see 9.7 and 10.3 in this, opposed to how often you see 8.0 and 8.3 in this. So, bit of a toss-up. I would personally fly this thing, because it's just the performance is that much better, and I just like this plane a lot more. But a bit of a toss-up. I think, yeah, I think they're appropriately tiered, but Su-25s and A-10s just kill this entire BR range. This thing, I mean, do you want to be a bomb sleigh? Be my guest. But other than that, not exactly fantastic. If you run into rank 7, fly the MF until you get the rest here. Bissau, kind of mid. Stock grind, absolutely dreadful. FRF literally brings nothing to the table. And the MiG-23 MLA, I mean, one of the better planes in the game. But the MLD in the Russian tech tree is definitely better. And then we move over to Russia. This is actually a bit of an easier tree to get through. Because, well, you have a plane down here, which is a no-brainer for the prop enjoyers. VK-107. This thing does kind of dodge the entire shitty BR range with the 6.0 6v6 matches. You do get them on occasion. But with this thing, it's a lot less prominent. It's actually pretty good to fly. It's a very good plane with pretty decent guns, or pretty damn good guns I should say. And it's rank 4, so you can get every prop in the game you want and even start with some of the jets. But then we arrive at the absolute no-brainer of this entire nation, Su-11. You can grind almost the entire nation with it. And man, is this thing busted as shit. 7.0 for this performance, sign me the fuck up. Give me this thing right now. Very good plane. Is it fun? I don't think so. It's just too good. But if you want a good grinder, it's not the best for getting quick kills. It's not the best for getting a lot of kills, winning every game. In that kind of sense, sometimes you'll get nothing because your team is simply too strong. But it's very consistent. You'll win very consistently. And you'll very often at least get some RP and a win. So it's a good grinder. But is it great? I don't know. Su-25 here, I mean, it's pretty good for grinding, but it's not on sale, and it won't be until about 1 or 2 patches later either. So no. MiG-21S, I made a video on this, and I said it was pretty great. Nowadays, there's a lot of A-10s and Su-25s running around, and, well, mostly A-10s, because Su-25s will be in your team, but it's not that great anymore. There's too many all aspect missiles, and it really just kills this vehicle. Same goes with the Su-7. Good for bombing, rushing in, dropping some shit. RTB, sure, but like, it first of all is not on sale, but it should be next week. So if you really want to buy anything for the Russian tree, get your Su-11. If you want a prop for the Russian tree, get the VK-107. So let's get started with this over here. Rank 1, we actually have a good plane this time around, and it's the Yak-2 Kebab. Pretty stupid, pretty good, but it's only rank 1, so you shouldn't be in there for too long. If you want to go over here, Yak-1B, absolutely amazing. Yak-9s, okay, but Yak-1B will be better. MiG-3s and the I-16s, I don't think they're great. These planes I don't think are great. Basically all of these planes are not very great. But is there anything in the premium line here that you can actually get? The P-39K, it's not as good as the N. It's a lot heavier. Not very good to fly. I would recommend to just stay in the tech tree here with the Yak-1B until you reach rank 3. P-40, not amazing. Hurricane, not amazing. LAC-3, not amazing. Not sure if you can even get this thing anymore. I-15, with the 20 mils. Guns are good. Plane is way too slow and everyone will just run away from you. Not very enjoyable of an experience. So let's move on over to rank 3, where the actual good planes start coming around again. Yak-3, gonna be probably the best in this entire bracket here. Absolutely amazing. If you have the P-29N0, same deal as with the American one. Busted ass performance, but not the best guns. This thing won't be going on sale. IL-2M, this thing won't be going on sale, probably won't even be on sale. And all these other planes are kind of mid. I'm not going to be running through all of them. They're not that amazing. If you want to get a premium here, get the Yak 3 VK107. It's just infinitely better than everything else that you can buy here. If you want to go for the premium, go for the Yak 3 over there. Rank 4, there's quite a few things here. These ones, Yak 9P, you want to skip. Yak 9U, now this thing is pretty damn deadly. Very, very good. And then we arrive at the Yak 3U, which is again absolutely fantastic. It's a bit of a trade-off versus this thing. I think the Yak 3U is a better vehicle. So if you want to Talisman this instead of getting this, very similar performance. This thing is slightly better for Araby. So it will be a bit of a toss-up. If you don't have anything unlocked in the Russian nation, I would buy this or this. If you do have this thing already and you don't need Silver Lions, just Talisman this. It will save you some money, or just buy the SU11. If you already have everything up at this point, buy a jet. It's not really worth buying a premium prop unless of course you only fly the props. UT, not very good. I-185, same with this thing. I kind of skipped it. They're decent, but I mean, when you have the Yak 3 in this same bracket, I would fly that instead. Same deal here with the Yak 9U and the Yak 3U. It's slightly lower BR, but I think these are just that much better. I-225, one of my favorite planes in the game. Not very noob friendly, pretty hard to fly. It locks up excessively, but other than that, the slower you go, the stronger it becomes. So you need to pick your fights, know who to fight. It's an amazing aircraft, but you do need to know how to use it. And I don't say that very often. This is one of those enjoyer vehicles that you might hate or love. There is really no in between for most people. LA7, absolutely fantastic plane. The LA7B, more guns, higher fire, more guns, less rounds per gun, less fire time. So I would say pick this one instead. And if you have this one, it's the same vehicle. But I wouldn't fly this over that ever. Maybe in a tournament setting where you need to get all your shells to hit very quickly and you can spray. But what there is in a tournament. LA9, 6.0. I mean, when you have this, don't bother. It has good guns. It has the ability to frag people very quickly because it doesn't compress really, and you can kind of just turn into people and shoot them. But the second it goes prolonged, you're kind of dead. SU6. Now, fly this one instead. No, wait. Fly this one if you want to fly one of these attackers. It is a pretty good fighter as well. Just make sure that you actually select the 23 millimeters. Wait. Yeah, select the 23 millimeters and not the 37s. The 23s are absolutely insane for killing ground units, but they're also pretty fucking good if you want to shoot a bomber or a plane or a jet, or it doesn't really matter. Whatever you're shooting, it is gonna explode. IL-10s, not very good. And this one, I mean, you see the issue? It doesn't have a 23 millimeter, so that instantly makes it a mid vehicle. Euro and the TU2s, these are good for ground RB, but not for air. And these are just kind of shit in general. This SU6, not worth it, even though it does get the thingies. The D9, I mean, it's pretty good, but there's just so many more better vehicles in this nation that I would say skip it. Same with the, well, you can't really buy this, but you also have the B6, which is a massive flying gunboat, but you're also going to be going 20 kilometers an hour in the middle of the map, making you very susceptible to damage. However, I mean, TU4 turrets at 5.0. Whatever can go wrong. You know, it's not an amazing aircraft, but, you know, can go wrong with TU4 turrets at this kind of BR. Again, rank 5, SU11, sorry. You also have all these planes, but SU11. You have these planes, but SU11. You have these planes, but SU11. You're starting to see a trend here. The SU11 is definitely the best pickup you can do in this entire nation. Good performance, high tier, and you're gonna win a lot. Yak 15s, if you want to get one, either performance or slightly more guns, skip the 17. Yak 23, good fun, too high of a BR, same with this thing. MiG-9 late, skip the MiG-9. If you like MiG-9s, fly the late, but again, SU-11. If you want to fly these, skip the 15, fly the BIS, but the SU-11. MiG-17 can be good still, very situational, and of course, all aspect missiles, which you don't run into with the SU-11. SU-9 is just a worse SU-11. The LA-200 is just a worse SU-11. Well, in reality, the LA-200 is criminally undertiered. It's way too fucking fast. It goes 1100 kilometers an hour. However, One small issue, you can't aim the guns on this thing. It's a massive boat and you only have the 37s. You don't really have any sprayability, you don't have any volume of fires. And the fact that this thing handles not like an Su-11 makes it very annoying to get your guns on people. Still an amazing aircraft, but I don't think it's very good for grinding. LA-15, it's stupid good at 8.0. Very good fun. Probably the more fun plane in this entire BR bracket is going to be the LA-15. You dodge all the annoying BR brackets. Right smack dab in the middle of 8.0. Very, very good. But is it the best grinder? I mean, yes, but you're not going to get any silver line, so keep that in mind. This and the Su-11, definitely the best pickups that you can do in rank 5. Move on over to rank 6. I would still say get the Su-11. I'm sorry, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's just such of a stupid... It's just so good. There is no reason to buy anything else. So just get the Su-11 here and then see how far you can get without killing yourself. Yak-38M, hard skip. MiG-19 PT. I mean, it's still good, but the all-aspect missiles just make this thing absolutely dreadful. So now the A-10s are at least 10.0 and 10.3 respectively. But it's still not very good to deal with. If those planes are not in your lobby, amazing aircraft. It's stupid good at 9.7. But again, all aspects just kind of cancel your ass. No. If you want a bomber, get this one. This one, no. Su-25. I mean, it's okay. It's a decent grind. I think you can do a little bit of smack your head into the wall until you get the MLD with this thing. Or until you get the MiG-29 if it comes next patch in this thing. But in general, is it fun? Probably not. And keep in mind, the Talisman on this thing will also be not on sale. I'm actually going to buy it because this thing won't be on sale. So I might as well just get it right now. Yak-28B. Bruh. I'm not even going to just get the Su-11. And now we reach rank 7, which I can't really say get the Su-11 anymore. Because you can't really grind rank 7 with it. But the MiG-21 SMT here. No brainer. Best in slot here to grind rank 6 and 7 with if you don't have the Su-11. Again, these not very good. MiG-23 kind of mid, and then we have the MiG-23 mid, but with an L. Pretty good, really, really strong. It's probably the top 3 aircraft in the game. However, keep in mind, F-14 exists, and you're not the top dog anymore. I'm not gonna go into that because I'm gonna get flack for it. I'm just not gonna say anything about the balance because I'm gonna go into a 20-minute rant if I do. Very good. But this is going to be a better grinder at 10.3. Very often you get down-tiered, you get 4R60s, you get the GSH-23 water pistol, and of course you get flares, which are very much welcome. Su-17 and Su-17 M4, hell no. MiG-27s, good fun, but definitely not meta. And then I think we have arrived at the end of the Russian tech tree. So quick rundown. Talisman, the SMT if you can. Su-11. Yak-3 VK107. Easy. If you want to go for a bit of a cheaper premium, then you might want to look something down here. But there's really not much you want to buy here. You're probably better off with Talismans. But if you really want to get anything, wait for the sale on this thing for next week if it comes. And otherwise, you just get the VK, man. It's honestly so worth it. But if you really want to just get one bargain bin premium, get the Su-11 for the last time, please. I don't want to fight this thing, but it's definitely the best bang for your buck. Probably in the entire game, if I'm not gonna lie to you. We reach Britain, British, and we go and do an horrible accent because I'm not British. What can I say? If you couldn't tell after about 30 minutes of this garbage, I am not actually British. Yes, I know. Some people have actually said that I was. No, I am not. Now, rank 1. I mean. There's really nothing here. I'm not gonna lie to you. The British grind is absolutely terrible. I would just scroll all the way down and get something that can kill people. The issue is this thing used to be amazing. This thing used to be amazing for grinding. It's not an amazing plane to fly. This thing used to be amazing. This thing used to be, well, no, actually it never was. But it kind of sucks to fly British, I think, especially to grind it. If I really had to get anything, I would get the Sea Vixen. Why? Well, You get 4 red tops. You are at 8.7 and you are very much guaranteed to get kills. It's not very fun to fly and it's extremely brain dead, but it's also for the most part some guaranteed RP and SL. And the repair cost, look at that, 3000 is an absolute fucking joke if you really want to take it out. The GR1, you're going to get your shit rocked. This thing, idem dito. This thing you can buy right now. The FGA9 is 1 a pack vehicle and 9.3. I just got done flying the goddamn J34. Trust me, that BR is not fun to fly. It is absolutely dreadful. And the Attacker FB2 is, there is one issue. I still managed to say it, SU11 is in your BR bracket and you're gonna run into it every single match. And if it wasn't very obvious yet by the SU11, it is going to walk all over every 7.0 in the entire game. So is there really anything to get here? Probably the Sea Vixen, and I hate to say it because it's an absolute chore to fly, but it's probably going to be the best grinder you can get there. And then rank 4, again, it's going to be a pack vehicle. The Wyvern at 4.0 is an absolute joke. It goes 650 kilometers an hour at 4.0. That's faster than some of the 6.0s. Just to show you how stupid that fucking speed is. These other planes, Spitfires, I don't think they're great to fly. The MB5, very limited. It's a little bit like the Heinkel 162. It's a little bit like the P51 D20s where you are very quick, but that's basically the only thing that you can do. These premiums, they're all kind of mid as well. Same with these. I hate all of these vehicles. I'm not going to be lying to you. Just get the Sea Vixen and you should be set for the majority of this entire tech tree. The thing is though, is there really anything worth grinding here? I'm going to be letting that up for debate, but I hated the British grind the most out of, I think, all of them. So, get the Sea Vixen, I think. And I'm warning you, it's boring, it's tedious, it's annoying to fly, it's not fun, but it's a good grinder. And that's what you are here for, probably. Now, all of these planes are kind of shit as well. Then we arrive at rank 2. Hurricane, pretty good. And the first Spitfires are okay, but like, they're just too slow. They're very boring to play. You just want to get through this to rank 3, where you can start flying some other planes that are actually pretty decent. Hurricanes, I would skip. First Spitfires, I think they're too high for BR. At 3.0, this thing at 3.0 I think is ridiculous. But what can you do about it? Sea Hurricane, good guns. Oh no, wait, there's this one. Sea Hurricane, good guns, shit performance. This thing, slightly less shit performance for the BR, but not very good guns. It's a bit of a toss-up yet again. Beaufighters, hell no. Sunderland, Wellingtons, Halifax. Oh, I'm gonna start crying just from saying the fucking name. No, don't get any of these. They're all terrible. Boomerang is okay. D520 is okay. Corsair is pretty good, but I don't like the clipped wings. Nerfs your turn, makes your speed bleed worse. But again, that 2.7 is still pretty damn strong. And then these other planes are all just kind of shit. Just get the Corsair here. If you really want to get through rank 2 because you don't want to fly any of this, I would say get the Corsair. But that's my point on it. And then you reach rank 3 where it starts becoming a little bit better. Typhoon, Mark 1B late. No contest. All of these other planes, not worth it. If you really want to get one, this thing is okay. Same deal as in the American one. I did make a video on this as well. It's a good pickup if you want to get through rank 1, 2, 3 and 4. But again, Wyvern, much better when it goes on sale. Get the Sea Vixen, people. Please, just skip most of these props. These props are not bad. Don't get me wrong. They're just all kind of boring to play if you don't like this kind of playstyle. And I hate the British playstyle, so I wanted to skip basically everything. And I bought almost every premium in the British tech tree before I got a Gaijin partnership, if that tells you anything. Why? Because I hated all of them and I kept switching to a new vehicle. I couldn't bear playing any of them. But, you know, that's my rant. Let's also buy this thing because it's on sale right now. Yes, I still look after my silver lines at least a tiny bit. But get the Mark 1B late if you want to Talisman anything here. If you didn't get the Wyvern like a smart person. These Spitfires, completely over BR. This thing, probably the best Spitfire you can fly here. Fireflies are not very good. Firebrand, even worse. Mosquitoes, not very good. Beaufighter is terrible. Sterlings are not very great either. You want to get any of these premiums. This Typhoon has the same engine power as this thing when this one is stock, and this one has all its mods ticked on. Yeah, much worse of an engine. Made me hate Typhoons in the first place. This one made me fall in love with it again. Thunderbolt, wouldn't buy it. Do not. If you can get it from the store, do not. This one is completely overpriced. I kind of liked it, but I got pretty lucky. If you want to buy premium for rank 3, get the Mustang Mach 1A. We have arrived at rank 4, where the options are still very limited. Tempest Mach 5, I wouldn't get them. Tempest Mach 2, pretty good, but again, very limited. I made a video on it. You are kind of dependent on your matchmaker, and you sometimes get thrown into the Junker 288 shit mix. But if you don't, it's pretty decent to fly. It just depends on who you are fighting. If you fight America, you're going to get your shit rocked. If not, you might be able to have some fun with it. But in general, all of these planes kind of suck to fly right now. Absolutely not. Pretty good. Spitfire, probably the best Spitfire you can get really for fun factor, because you can't really run away from it that easily. It still climbs amazingly well, and it's still a Spitfire if you like Spitfires. And then you get the Griffins. I mean, if you need to fly one, fly the first one. These three, well, this one is just slightly worse, but they're kind of identical. These two are completely over beyond. Seafires, hell no. Sea Fury is just the worst Tempest in my opinion. It's an absolute shit brick. Whirlwind, Lamau no. Brigand, Lamau no. Hornet, Lamau yes. Amazing plane. Good speed, good climb. Get a 2 kilometer airspan, but keep in mind it is a little bit of a boat. But it's probably one of the better rank 4s in here. But again, you get thrown into the 6.0 shit mix meat grinder. So I would say get Talisman the Hornet in this BR bracket. Really, if I have to pick anything. But in reality, just get the fucking Wyvern. It's not that hard. MB5 and all. I just don't like any of these. The Wyvern is just so objectively better than everything here, other than the SU-11. Yes, I still have to mention it, that it's kind of a no-brainer here to get it. However, it's of course a pack vehicle, and you need to wait for that thing to actually get on sale. But just get the Sea Vixen. In reality, it's a much easier grind. You can get to whatever you want to fly, and then you should be well off. Vampires, Venom, Attacker, Seahawk, Sea Venom. I mean, they're all kind of mid as well. The Canberra Mark 6 can be pretty fun. The Venom can be pretty fun, but it's not worth it at 8.7. The Meteor Mark 3, it's an absolute bullshit of a flight model, but it's too slow. And at 7.3, everyone will just run away from you. Positioning is key in this thing. It's a very brain-dead plane to fly. But you need to position yourself well, otherwise you simply just die. And that's a sick bar, I know. The two Meteors here, I wouldn't really pick any of these. I don't think they're very great. Seahawk is also not very amazing. Sea Venom can be pretty fun, but it's a bit of a gimp mobile. It's decent, but that's only because it's a low PR. It's not because it's an amazing aircraft. The Swifts, I mean, they're still pretty decent. It's the same deal as with the P-38K and the I-225. Where the faster you go, the worse these planes become. And at 8.7, it's going to depend on your matchmaker. And the Swift F1, I mean, it's the pretty good planes, but get the Sea Vixen. I can't stress enough how much I hate the grind in the British tech tree, and you can tell it. There is just really nothing that's really amazing. They're all pretty decent aircraft, but they all play the same way. They're all just, I tune pretty well, and I'm pretty slow. Wow, amazing. So everyone will just run from you. And if you are a pretty decent player, you know how annoying that can be, because you can't really kill anything if they keep running away. And when they don't run away from you, you get a kill by holding one key because your plane is just better in a dogfight. Does that sound fun to you? It doesn't sound fun to me, but that's completely up to you. If you want to fly something decent, you're probably best off with the Swifts over here. And maybe the Meteor Mark 8 if that tickles your fancy. Canberra Mark 6 is also pretty funny because, well, 2000 rounds of 20mm. It turns amazingly well, and of course you get the airspan, so you can actually get some damage in at the start of the match. And then we reach rank 6. Horrible, pretty funny actually. Video on this very soon as well. Already got the footage done. Pretty funny plane. Get missiles, get a lot of guns. 8.3, amazing acceleration. You won't be dogfighting many people, but the performance of this thing is pretty solid. Lightning, I would skip it. Horrible to fly, horrible to aim, in a horrible matchmaker. The absolute trifecta of cancer. I would say skip that shit right now. Scimitar, same deal really. It's an amazing aircraft, but you can't aim the guns. And it's a bit of a boat, so you're going to end up missing almost all your shots. Harrier GR3, it's okay. Probably the best thing you can get over here, because the Harrier GR1 just gets absolutely stomped by every missile that gets fired at it. Also keep in mind that the flight model of this thing is slightly worse than the GR3, and the GR1 doesn't get flares. So yeah, and SRAMs are extremely easy to flare. So very often your insta-kill missile doesn't really even work properly. So what should you get in this nation? I would actually Javelin. I know I'm saying this and I know I sound like an absolute lunatic, but if I had to do this all over again, I would Talisman the Javelin right now. The Jaguar, I would get this one instead. Buccaneer is absolutely trash. And then you reach rank 7, where suddenly, and the same with the Hunters, they're like, oh wait a minute, when everyone runs away from us, we can't get any kills. Let's get some faster vehicles, and they turn into absolute shit bricks. So now we get the Phantom FG1 and the Phantom FGR, basically identical. I don't think these are very good. I don't think there's really anything worth grinding in this nation. And then when you reach the end, there's really nothing to get either. I guess they have the best GR1 or the best Jaguar. And that's it. Yeah, sounds amazing, doesn't it? I'm not a fan of this thing. I know I'm not being as in-depth with this nation, but really, there is really nothing to say. If you really want to get the British vehicles, just get the fucking Vixen. There is really nothing else here that's really worth a purchase. Let's go to Japan, where we get some more vehicles that are actually pretty good. First of all, I would say the JSDEF Sabre at 9.0 is pretty solid. I'm gonna make a video on this thing, I think tomorrow or the day after. It's already done. I wanted to upload it today. However, patch came out, sale comes out, and here we are again. The T2 early got it 750 rounds now. However, it's not going to be on sale for 1 or 2 patches, because guess what? It's a new vehicle. So I would say get the F40 here. It can be kind of painful and you can get up tiered sometimes, but I think for the Japanese line, if you want to fly a jet, infinitely more fun than the T2 early. But in reality, what I would do is probably Talisman something here. But the Japanese tech tree is also kind of annoying to grind. If you want to buy anything from the Gaijin market, the Key 87 is pretty shit. So don't. The Key 94 is pretty shit. Don't. The J6K got buffed this patch, but again, it's on the market. But the J6K is probably going to be your best bet in the rank 4 prop department. But if I really had to buy any premium right here, and it has to be a prop, it's going to be the P51C10 for its absolutely amazing performance, or the A7M1 because it gets slightly more rewards. Oh, it's the same actually. I'm capping. No, it does get more silver line. See, I would get the get this one, the J5 or J2M5. It's good at 4.7 definitely, but I think that the J2M2 is better. But I do think that in terms of rank 4, this is going to be the best prop you can buy other than the J6K. The issue is again 6.0. You're probably going to have more fun in the J2M5. That's the only difference here. So I would say get the JSDEF for jets, get the J2M2, J2M5 for props. And then you still have some pretty decent picks. The FU1A, amazing for SL grinding. The E7 is amazing at 2.3. Like, bro, what the hell is this? Also, when did they up tier this actually? I missed that. But still an amazing aircraft. This thing is going to be even better. And then you have the P51C, which is just ridiculous at 3.7 stills. The exact same thing as we have in the American tech tree. Let's look at the rest of the nation. Rank 1, I would skip. It's very much a no-brainer to buy the E7. It's very cheap and you can at least grind up until rank 3. You can't go wrong with this thing or the FU1A, but I do think that this one will be infinitely more fun because you can actually dogfight people a hell of a lot better. These are all kind of shitty except for the J2M2. J2M2 is absolute bullshit. This is the counter to the XP50, and I went on the XP50 earlier. That is absolutely bullshit. This thing walks all over it. It's slightly higher BR, it doesn't get an airspan, but the climb rate rivals that of the P51H up until like 5 kilometers at fucking 4.3. There you have it. Key 61s, I would fly the first one. Maybe the Key 100, but I haven't taken it out in a long while, so I'm not actually going to comment on it. Key 44s, they're still pretty good, but they're not as good as they once were. Key 43s, I would skip. They're too slow. Everyone just runs from you. Key 45s, Key 109, the D4s, the H8Ks and stuff. I would skip all of this. I would just buy this thing and go straight into rank 3. If you have some more money, I would buy this thing and go straight into rank 4. If I have a little bit more money, buy the J2M5 and you would basically have the entire nation or get the F40. But we've been over this. So rank 3, a little bit more to pick from. A7M2 is pretty good. The Key 61s here are completely over tiered. The Key 43, there's some videos on it on the internet, but they got nerfed pretty hard and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. They're not that powerful anymore. Pretty annoying to fly now. But there is better picks here. You have the A7M2 and of course the premium A7M1 and the P51C of course. So I would buy this or that, considering they aren't that expensive. But let's look at some more. Yeah, this is all just kind of shit. These bombers and ground attackers for the Japanese lines, not very enjoyable. And then we reach rank 4 actually. And one case I would skip. I would get this thing instead. The Key 84 Co, probably the best for the BR. If the BR or the matchmaker is a little bit more forgiving and you get down tiered all the time, I would get this thing instead. Just so that you have a little bit more of an equal gun set, easier to aim. This thing is completely over BR'd. I would skip it. This thing is absolute dog shit. And the J2M2, J2M3 and J2M5 aren't really worth it at this BR, considering you have this thing and of course the one at 4.3. But you can't really grind with that at this BR or at this tier for obvious reasons. J5N1, hell no. K83, pretty fucking good, but again, 6.0 matchmaker, not very enjoyable to fly. And these two are also not amazing. Again, buy this, J2M5, or buy the J6K1 from the Gaijin store. I'm not sure how expensive it is right now, and it won't be on sale. I'm not sure if this thing is on sale, but otherwise, absolute no-brainer. Probably the best thing you can buy here, but that's only because it's very limited. Very dry, very still. So I'm not really a fan of it. Kika, still good, but I wouldn't Talisman it. Key 200, definitely not very good at 8.7. And the Sabres here, I mean, they're the same as this really, the F40. So if I had to choose between a Talisman for this, or getting this thing and being able to grind the entire nation with it, as well as getting the premium bonus and a lower repair cost, definitely get this. But, you know, it all kind of sucks. The R2Y2s kind of fell off, no airspan anymore, 7.7, but it turns very well, and the guns slap absolute dick, so, hey, can't go wrong with that if you like to fly aggressively, but they're not very great performance-wise. Then you reach rank 6, and what am I supposed to say, man? 10.7 without countermeasures, like, bro, what is this? And then you have the T2, it's the same as this thing. I mean, you're better off flying this over this one, so you only have to buy one thing. But this won't be going on sale anytime soon. And it won't be going on sale until 2 or 3 patches from now. And then you need to wait for a sale on pack vehicles as well. So you're probably not going to get a sale for this until like 4 or 5 months from now. And the T2 is not a good vehicle. I made a video on this last week. Not good. F1, it's basically the same thing, but you get better missiles. But 10.3 without countermeasures, just like the F104, you're gonna get your shit rocked. Trust me, all of these planes here, 9.7 and up without countermeasures, you are absolutely dead. The good news is, there's really nothing to grind here, so you're not really missing out that much. The F4EJ, I would skip this and go straight into this thing, because, well, it has an absolute bullshit radar together with the AIM-7Fs. But that's really the only gimmick that it has. Not a good plane right now, and we're just waiting for maybe an F-15 and maybe the Mitsubishi F2. But when are they coming? Are they even coming? We don't even know. So Japanese is one of those nations that I really don't recommend grinding until you almost have everything in the game already, because there's really just nothing to get currently. So rundown, F40, J6K, J2M5, A7M, P51C, FU1A, E7. Pretty cut and dry. Let's go to China. This all sucks except for the CW21. Probably one of the most busted planes in the game still. Good performance, but again, rank 1, you should be able to get through this very quickly. If I really have to tell you anything, why are these all fucking pack vehicles, man? The A5C will probably go on sale next week. You have flares, you have magics, very consistent grinding with that thing, and it's very much worth the money, and you will be able to just grind the entire tree with this thing very, very easily, but you can't buy that right now. Shenyang, you can't either, and I don't recommend it. For the props, definitely get the Key 84 Co. Same reason as in the Japanese line. You will be able to grind basically everything. It's a premium, and you will be able to skip most of the map planes in this game or in this nation very, very easily. These other premiums are just not worth it. If you really want to get planes with a Talisman, and I want to go over this one pretty quickly because there's really nothing here. The P40s are kind of mid, P66 is kind of mid, Key 43 is kind of mid, Key 44 is okay, it's pretty good, and same with the Key 61. These two are probably best to Talisman. P47 I wouldn't do. This one, however, pretty fucking good. Pick this one up if you want to get anything for rank 3. Rank 4, no, 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 no. Maybe, yes, yes. Get these two if you want to Talisman anything, but again, the Key 4 Talisman is going to be a better pick here. F40, same deal as in the Japanese line. It's pretty good, but when you have these planes at your disposal, there is something else to pick, and I would pick the J2, which is a MiG-15 bis, or you could fly the F-84G or the MiG-9 late, but in reality, J2 is probably going to be your best bet here, or the F-30, just so you can dodge most of the bad BRs. You might get fully up-tiered here and there, but in general, it is pretty solid to fly this thing instead. It's very easy to fly. It's just kind of annoying to get guns on people, and it can be kind of hard to kill people very consistently if you're not very good at jets. But by the time you reach this thing, you shouldn't be a level 1 to begin with. And if you are, then I don't know how you did it. You probably get reported by Gaijin or something. They don't like that. TO4, no. H5, which is an IL-28, also no. And the Shenyang F5 at 9.3 with all aspect missiles, without countermeasures. You can dodge some of them in the head-ons if you go about it accurate or properly, but it is kind of annoying to fly. I don't really recommend it, and it's not even on sale right now, so why would you? This thing, however, again, probably the best bet here, but it's not on sale just yet. Otherwise, these all kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. You have the J6 again, the MiG-19. Depends on your matchmaker. It's either gonna be great, or you are gonna be cancelled by an all-aspect missile that you can't really do much about. Kind of annoying to play, but it's gonna be better than everything here. Maybe the Q5A, because you do have countermeasures. The thing is, the 20mm are kind of annoying to aim. You are limited in countermeasures, but at 9.0, it's probably gonna be your best bet here, the Talisman, in rank 6. I will make a video on this in a week or two as well. It's already done, but I just need to upload it. But really, just get the A5C here. It's the least painful grind. Just wait for it to actually go on sale. And then you reach rank 6, and you notice a lot of Talismans here. Well, I bought the Talismans on sale, and I hated flying most of these. Other than the J7E. The J7E is the reason you are probably grinding this tech tree. So I would Talisman this. The F104G, not really worth it. No Talismans or no flares. It's the same deal as with the Japanese one. The F5A, it's an F5C with better missiles, except you are at 11.0. And then the plane that's just a straight up upgrade is 11.0 as well. So yeah, just fly the F5E if you have to fly anything here. But the J7E is the reason you're probably grinding this entire BR if you are flying RRB. Talismaning this thing is never a bad idea. Why? Because it's going to get these mods a hell of a lot quicker. So, quick rundown. Just buy the A5C really, and maybe get the Key 84 Co if you are more of a prop enjoyer. Straight on to Italy. Easy pick. Absolutely no contest. Ariete 2. Oh, Ariete. No contest. Bring that to fly. probably the best, no, it's the best subsonic in the game. And sure, you might run into some all-aspect missiles, but with this thing you can actually dodge them. You need to go into a little bit of an angle, and you can just kind of rat around and you win every dogfight you go into. Sure, you need to be somewhat careful of the missiles, but trust me, it's a hell of a lot better experience as the thing that's right below it, which is the G91R4, which is also not a pack vehicle. It is a pack vehicle, I mean, so you can't even buy this. The G2, I mean, it's the better G2. It's not a trop variant, and it's on sale, but is it very good at 4.3? I don't think it is anymore, depending on the matchmaker. It is a good plane if you like 109s. You are probably going to like the 109 G2, because it's the, I don't know, probably one of the better boring 109s, so to speak. The more stiff ones, the ones that you can't dogfight as much with. But man, when you look at all these premiums, when this thing is a GE premium, I know what I'm buying. Unfortunately, you can't buy the AP belts anymore, or can't get the AP belts anymore. Ariete would be an absolute no-brainer here. These other planes are all kind of mid. They're kind of shitty. And if you have this, I don't need to tell you anything else that you want to get, because well, you can buy you can get the entire nation with this thing. So it's a very easy choice for the Italian tech tree. The only issue is that I don't like fighting these things, so I hope there won't be too many people actually flying it out. Nothing here really. All kind of meh. It's all kind of shitty. 4.0 for this thing. Lemau, no. And you can start to hear that I'm getting pretty hoarse. My voice is hurting like fuck, but let's wrap this up as we can. And all these planes are kind of annoying to fly. The C205s are pretty good. Yeah, here we go. My voice is going to start cracking every 2 seconds now. I would get the Series 1, lower BR. This thing is not worth a BR bump. If you want to fly the 3.71 or 4.71, just get this thing instead. One more MG151, definitely worth, as well as the higher BR or the higher tier that you get, so you can actually get something done in terms of grinding. For the props, I mean, there's really not much here. The G2 is probably going to be the most fun bet. The G55 is kind of mid. It's basically the same performance, but it turns slightly better. But I would get the G2 over the G55, and the G55 is also not a pack vehicle. It is a pack vehicle, so you can't even do that. This thing is good for ground RB, air RB. I wouldn't recommend it. These are all kind of meh. If you want to get a G55, get the Series 0, potentially this one. But again, at 5.0, it's simply over BR'd. The SM91 and the SM92, heavy fighters, you go head on with people with an airspan. If you like that kind of gameplay, you can fly these, but they're not exactly amazing. And then you have all these bombers, which are all fucking trash. RA2005, worst, also almost same, let's just say equal to the 4.3 Mark 9 Spitfire, but at 5.7. Yeah, nope. G56, hell no. Just a better G55, fighting P51H's every match. F2Gs every match, SU11s, you know, this thing, you should buy it, you should buy this thing. But man, these all just kind of blow. The prop department of the Italians is kind of mid, but then we reach rank 5, and guess what, it's still kind of mid. We have the Vampire at 8.0, no. Seal Mark 4, no. This is an A5 Sabre without the wing slats, so you have the A5 engine without the improved turn rate, at a higher BR, don't really recommend it. G91 pre-series, at 8.3, maybe you can dodge some of the shitty BR ranges, but it's still a G91, and in today's matchmaker, this is not very good to fly, trust me. F84F, hell no. F84G, it's pretty okay. So if you want to Talisman anything in rank 5, I would say F84G with no contest. We reach rank 6. It's again all kind of shitty. I wouldn't get this. This one is okay, but at 10.7 you are going to be up tiered to 11.3 very often. Can be kind of stressful, can be kind of painful, but you do have flares, whereas this one does not. The ASA is a pretty good plane, but there's really nothing here yet, unless they start adding F-16s and stuff, but they're not there yet. The G91Y and the YS are kind of dog shit. The Sagittario 2, I mean, it's okay. I would probably, if I had to pick anything here, I would either get the Sagittario 2, Talisman it, or Talisman the F104G, because you do have flares, AIM-9Js and a Vulcan. Sure, you have a slightly higher BR at 10.7 instead of 10.3, but I think that this is going to be your best bet in terms of grinding. Short games, Vulcan, missiles and flares, basically everything you need, but it's definitely not better than something like the MiG-21 SMT, which is for some reason a lower BR. So, you know, that's basically the rundown here. Just buy the Ariete and you should be good to go. And then we reach French. Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to this one. Yeah, you're seeing the problem here, don't you? You're seeing the problem here. Pack vehicle. I'm not even sure if it will go on sale. If you want to fly it as a bomb sleigh, be my guest. But that's the only use you're going to get out of it. Fly this thing like an Su-7 if you want to get it. But in reality, the French grind is also absolutely horrible. The Vautours are completely dead. They're not even pack vehicles either. The SO8000 I don't think you can buy anymore, but luckily for you, because it's absolutely terrible. And then you have the 84, which doesn't have the best guns anymore. So what should you get? The Yak 3. It's 1.6k Golden Eagles. And if you ask Glitched, he'll be gladly to tell you that it's only 800 right now. But all these planes are kind of copy-paste from other nations, and I don't know what to tell you. It all kind of blows. It all kind of blows. Other than the Mirage 2000. I will go from high tier to low tier. This thing is mid as hell. This thing is okay. This thing is bad. 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 Mid. Mid to low bad. Kind of bad. Not completely mid, but mid. Yeah, it's pretty mid actually. It's pretty bad. Jaguar. Good missiles, but mid. E-10 Dart. Good plane, but all aspect missiles absolutely shit on this thing. So, depending on the matchmaker, pretty mid. F100 is trash. F86K, flyable, but kind of meh. Mystere and the Super Mystere, absolute dog shit. The MD452A and 2C, fly the 2C if you want to fly any, but they're all kind of mid. These are okay. Basically the same vehicle. Pretty good to fly, 7.7. Definitely worth it. But the problem is getting to this point. There is nothing to get here. So that's kind of the issue. F84 is pretty good. The F84F is kind of shit. Shit, 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 shit. Okay, but the guns are shit now, so it's shit. PB4Y, it's shit. There's really nothing here that you can really get. It's a bit of a shame. I'm not gonna lie. If I really had to do this, if I was completely broke, I would probably just start bombing in the Milan. I know what I'm saying. The Milan is probably one of my least liked planes in the entire game. But man, what are these other planes? This is probably going to be your best bet. You're going to be fast enough to dodge the A-10s and the Su-25s before they reach their side of the map. You can get a free bombing run in. And after that, you're going to go RTB, maybe get another bombing run in, and then you're done. The French Tech 3 is a chore to grind. The Yak 3 here is amazing, and you can get everything up until rank 4. So if you are a prop enjoyer, you can get the Yak 3, and you're done. That's it. Probably one of the best planes in the game for BR. The issue is, after that, personally, I would probably, it's a hard choice. Maybe get this and just start ground pounding. I know I don't like giving this kind of advice, but for the French Tech 3, there's really nothing to get. So let's go through it real quick. There's nothing here that you want to buy. There's nothing here that you really want to buy. The Potes 630 and the 631 are pretty funny to fly. The VG33C is pretty okay, not the best, but in reality, get this thing if you can buy it. And otherwise, I guess this. If you want to Talisman anything, I would Talisman the P63C5. It used to be rank 4, that's why I have a Talisman. But yeah, you're kind of shit out of luck nowadays. F6Fs. All of these planes are not very great. This thing is okay, but the limited ammo, the wing-mounted guns, and the not amazing damage from those guns, kind of annoying to fly. I wouldn't recommend it. But like, what is there to pick here? The French Tech 3 grind is atrocious. Normally I would say the 84, but the guns are nerfed into the absolute dirt right now. I don't care if it's a bug, if they nerfed it, whatever they do to it. But A&M 3s right now are not good guns, and they do not pack a punch at all. And then you have something like the FU7, which has the same flight performance as the 4.71, in trade-off of the Snap Rocket as well as the A&M trees, the issue is A&M trees don't work anymore, so you simply get an over-BR'd FAU4, sorry. Just the 4.7 version. F8F is not very good. Would you really pick anything here? If I really had to choose, I would probably get the VB10 and just head on people, kill people that way. You are at least at a relatively low BR and you can catapult yourself into the Jet BR where it starts becoming a little bit less shit. F84G or the Barugan or the Uragan. And then I would say I would get the Barugan because you have slightly more payload options opposed to the other one. But that's preference. If you really want to fly Mystere, I would say get this thing. But in general, this all kind of sucks as well. If you really have to pick a plane here, I would get the E10 Dart. And then throw myself into the... I don't know, man. It all kind of sucks. I would probably get the Mirage 3E and then go into the Mirage 2000. I'm not going to lie, this grind sucks absolute balls. So let's get that out of our faces and go into Sweden. Is there really anything you want to buy here? I'm going to go from top to bottom again, from bottom to the top. Nope. Not very good. And, well, how do I say it? It's probably the best bet. It's probably going to be a best bet. This thing is good, but it probably won't be on sale. Oh, it will be on sale, actually. It's a good grinder. Pure Mursky is an amazing plane at 4.3. It's a pack. I know. But if it goes on sale, it's only 10 bucks. Definitely worth the pickup. It's unique. It's good. And you can grind some stuff with it. But nowadays, because they added all this Finnish stuff, you can actually start grinding something in this nation. Let's go through it real quick. I would say get the G6 for props, get the Saab for jets, the G829. I am not sure if this is a pack or not. I completely forgot. If this is a GE, get the J29D, but I don't think it's a pack. If it goes on sale next week, I would get this over the Saab 105, but that's my personal preference. This is all kind of shitty. Mokko Marine is very, very good if you want to fly anything here. J22s and stuff are kind of shitty. J22 is kind of shitty. Pure Mursky here, definitely the best plane in rank 3. But now, because we have some new stuff here, I would skip all of this and either get the G6 Urla or the G6 Premium. Rank 5. Yeah, this is kind of silly. It's all kind of shitty. Not very good. Not very good. Good for ground RB. But it's very slow, and when you have planes like the SU-11, yeah, I know, I have to mention it again, then, well, you're not going to have much fun in them, especially these 3, and then you have the Vampire here, as well as that Vampire, they're both the same as the Italian one, completely over BR'd, not really worth it, and these two J29s are not very good either. And then you reach rank 6, what do you want to get? It all sucks again. It all sucks again. The J34 is probably going to be your worst bet here. A32 is pretty shitty. J32 is pretty shitty. You're probably going to be best over the J29. However, it's almost identical to this thing. However, it gets missiles. And the 9.0 BR bump, is it worth it? I don't know. This BR also kind of sucks. And these planes all kind of suck as well. So you need to fly. You need to pick something here that you need to fly until you reach the Viggen. Because this thing, I mean, I wouldn't grind Finnish to get the BIS. But the J35D doesn't have RWR, doesn't have countermeasures. Same with this thing. All aspect missiles everywhere. So if you really need to pick something here, it's probably going to be the J32B or the J29F. But both are probably not going to be the most enjoyable experience, let me tell you that. So you might want to get the A32A, hope it gets down tiered, and then start carpet bombing. And the issue with this thing as well, you don't even have bombs. So you can't even try to do the Malante trick of trying to ground pound. This thing gets absolutely nothing either. Yeah, you see that right. So this grind is going to suck balls. I'm not going to lie. You're probably best over the J29F simply because it's the lowest BR and can try to dodge as many all aspect missiles as possible. It's not a bad vehicle, but it should be 8.7. So quick rundown. J29 if it's not a pack, or wait till next week. This thing, if you want to get a jet. This thing, if you want to get a premium. And this thing, if you want to get a premium and then use the GE that you get from the pack for maybe talismaning the G6 Ulla. It's up to you. Swedish factory is almost as painful as the French one, but God forbid, here we are at Israel. What do you want to get? There is really nothing you can get here, because this thing is a pack, I believe, and is not really that great anymore to begin with. The good news is, you can skip the low BRs quite handily, because you don't have to go through them. The issue is, yeah, you see it right there, it's the F-84F. It's dog shit. So how are we gonna go and traverse these nations? And you can tell I talisman 3 planes here. Why is that? Well, because I had to grind and I didn't want to fly any of them. So the second I got sick of the one, I went to the other one. But I have that luxury because I can actually get GE from Gaijin, and not everyone is as fortunate as that. The problem is here, there's really not much good. S199 is absolute ass. Get this thing. If you want to go without premiums, I would get the Mark 9C. If I really had to say, get anything, I mean, I would get the Wise. So you can grind a little bit quicker into here and get all these jets a little bit quicker, and then maybe use the GE from the pack that you bought to get a talisman for one of these. I would personally get the Uragan again. Lowest BR, slightly worse performance than the F8. But you don't have to worry about 9.0s, and this gets down-tiered rather frequently. This thing is also pretty good, but the wing-mounted guns, together with the absolute awful roll rate, makes it a little bit of a chore to fly. Vautour 2A and a Vautour 2N, I would not just skip them. Please run away. F-84F is horseshit. And then you have the Mystere again, the Sambad, it's in the name, as well as the Saar, or whatever you want to pronounce it like. Kind of shit as well. A4N here is probably going to be the best 9.3 you can fly right now, because you have good missiles. Let me show you. And you can actually create your thingy now, so you can do Shafir 2s and maybe an AIM-9D if you really want to. But in reality, it kind of sucks grinding this, and the only thing you really want to get is the Kafir C7, or maybe when they start adding some other Israeli stuff, that's actually pretty damn good. But we're not at that point yet. I'm sorry that I couldn't really give you a good direction in these bad tech trees, because there is really, it's kind of pick your poison, and there's really nothing you can pick. I'm sorry this went on for so long. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.